X's.
This is a like hidden IQ test. just
Right,
ranking us.
right.
Yeah, IQ test. All right, are we on? Good evening. We do have a member of the Ministerial Alliance here with us tonight. Katie, would you please come forward?
Pray with me. God, we thank you for allowing this lovely group of people to meet here tonight, and I pray that as they discuss and as they talk and as they ask questions, that you will ultimately be glorified through everything that happens, and that you'll just be with us as we move into this time of Christmas and holidays, that you'll keep everyone safe, and that we will just be able to have a good meeting tonight here. And I just thank you for all that you've done for us. In your name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I call the December 18th, 2023 Board of Aldermen meeting to order. City Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Rachel Kilmer,
Here.
Kelly Netto,
Here.
Jim Shrout, Jeremy Taylor,
Here.
Tracy Newcomer,
Here.
Pam Pope,
Here.
and Mayor Dana Webb.
Here, thank you. The next item on the agenda is new business, deletions, or continuances. We do not have any of those tonight, so we will move on to public comments. Do we have any, Tim?
There are no public comments.
There are no public comments this evening. The next item on the agenda is a consent agenda. These items are considered on the consent agenda so that members of the Board of Aldermen, by unanimous consent, can designate routine items to be approved by one motion. Tonight, we have approval of December 4th, 2023 Board of Aldermen meeting minutes, expenditures through November 30th, 2023, and the November 2024 financial statement.
I'm sorry, that should be 2023.
Yep.
I apologize.
Oh, yes, it should be.
Scribner.
November 2023 financial statement. We haven't even got to 24
I'm looking
yet.
forward to next year. I've been working
I
on the
jumped ahead, too.
2024 calendar.
You're fine.
I make a motion we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. The next item on the agenda is unfinished business. We do not have any of that this evening, so we will move on to new business. The first item under new business is discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding purchasing a 2024 Ford F-550 cab for the Public Works Department. Corey?
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, so went out and got three. Actually, on this vehicle, we tried to attempt to get 5 bids. Only received a response from 4 of the 5, and actually just 2 estimates. One non-responsive, and the other one couldn't offer us fleet pricing altogether. So this is to purchase an F-550. As mentioned before, it's to replace a 2003 dump truck. International dump truck that continues to have mechanical issues. It's proven to be unreliable and costly to maintain. This truck will be outfitted with the snowplow, and it will also have a setup on the rear for the current hydraulic salt spreader we already have. So it'll be able to throw salt and plow snow. The lowest bid was Blue Springs Ford at $57,411. Today I got an update from Blue Springs Ford. How it's working right now is it will take, once we get approval, if we get approval to place an order, it takes 4 weeks for the Ford manufacturer to accept our order, and then once they accept it, another 8 weeks to build it. So we're 12 to 16 weeks, I'd say, after we can give them a go-ahead. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Corey.
Corey, the only question I have, and it's probably in here, is it a diesel?
Actually, good question. No, we're actually going with an unleaded. We have a diesel truck currently right now, a flatbed, and it's due to the diesel components, I guess you could say, like the filtration system and stuff, it's quite costly to maintain. So the unleaded version and a 7.3 liter engine is supposed to be a real good, solid engine for that F-550. So
Thank you.
I believe the diesel was, I'd have to thumb through there, maybe, or if I even included it in here, but it was maybe somewhere like a $10,000 upcharge, somewhere in that range.
And these quotes are for the exact same truck.
They are,
Yeah.
yes.
I make a motion to approve the purchase of the 2023 International dump truck from Blue Springs Ford for a cost of $57,411.
It's a 2024.
It says
That's,
to
Ford
replace the
F-550.
2003. I amend my motion to say 2024.
Ford F-550.
Thank you, and that.
I second.
We have a motion and a second for, regarding the purchase of the 2024 Ford F-550 to replace the dump truck for Public Works Department. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. The next item on the agenda is discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding purchasing a new custom-built utility dump bed for the Ford F-550 for the Public Works Department. Corey?
Yes, thank you. So the F-550 is just the cabin chassis. The reason for this is there's not really much of a cost difference to purchase a truck with a bed on it already versus us having one built. There's just a little increase there, but the difference is we get a much better product when we have one built, much more durable. You're able to increase the thickness of the flooring and such. So that's kind of the reasoning for that. And also to equip it to fit our needs, such as different strobes and the rear hydraulic couplings for the salt spreader, like I mentioned. We received 3 bids for this one. Krantz, Kansas City, we've done work with them either last year or 2 years ago for a bed replacement. They do good work. They came in at $32,363 as low bid. We've decided to go the stainless steel route. This bed will be stainless steel to prevent rust and corrosion from developing, since it's going to be hauling our salt spreader. You may have seen these types of beds on county trucks, MoDOT trucks. They're the silver-looking beds. Fabrication company couldn't give us much of a lead time right now, but it sounds like 12 to 16 weeks the last we talked. And we are not able to, unfortunately, physically order the bed until our truck is in, I found that out today, until our truck is in our possession. They don't want the beds just laying around in their way, taking up storage. So that was kind of unfortunate. But with that, I'll answer any questions you might have.
Thank you, Corey. So it's a 16 weeks and then an additional 16 weeks?
It sounds like it,
Oh,
yeah.
that's
Up
unfortunate.
to, yeah. I'm going to stay on them, but we'll,
You would think even if you could prove that you purchased it, that would help.
yes, agreed. And by having regular updates from Blue Springs Ford, hopefully that maybe can help push them a little bit. I don't know,
Yes,
but we'll
Thank
see.
thank you.
Everything takes forever these days.
It does. Does the board have any questions about the utility dump bed?
What material was it made of prior to the stainless steel?
There's aluminum and steel. We would normally go with steel.
Okay.
But the current beds we have right now, the ones that have hauled our salt spreaders are rusted. And you may have heard me mention, we had a bed replaced a couple of years ago because it was rusted and falling apart as well.
Okay.
Trying to avoid that unnecessary expense later down the road.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions from the board?
I make a motion that we approve the purchase of a custom-built utility dump bed for the Ford F-550 from Krantz for $32,363.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to purchase the new custom-built utility bed for the Ford F-550 for the Public Works Department. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. The next item on the agenda is discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding the purchasing a 2024 asphalt hot box patch trailer for Public Works Department. Corey, it's your show all night long.
That's the last item for like myself though, right?
Okay, no, you've got two more.
Okay. Yes, thank you. So you probably are aware that our current patch trailer is in need of repairs. It is a 2004 trailer. It is built and sold out of Texas. Unfortunately, that's the only place you can buy parts for it that are specific to the unit, that is, which is kind of inconvenient. But also, that trailer can only be pulled by one truck because it's equipped with air brakes. So that, amongst other issues with it, we have decided to go this route. It is just as capable as the one we currently have, but it's 3/4 ton towable, has electric brakes. It's sold in Lee Summit. It's not made in Lee Summit, but it's sold in Lee Summit. And there are 3 places actually, St. Louis, Lee Summit, and Wichita, in which we can take it to or get parts from if we needed to bounce around to any of those locations. And this manufacturer also has 40 locations nationwide, to where the other place is only in Texas. So 6 to 8 weeks lead time after we place our order. We will likely, if approved, probably receive that item before really anything else, which we desperately need, as I'm sure you know with the potholes we have. And I can answer any questions you might have.
Thank you, Corey.
What are we gonna do with the old one?
I suppose we would store it and try to sell it at auction next year, unless there's another suggestion. But it doesn't really work for our applications anymore because of those air brakes. You can do what's called caging the brakes, so we can transport it around, but it's not safe to transport it with asphalt in it. And some of the components don't work on it either, so it's not really a good, useful backup necessarily, but.
I make a motion to approve the purchase of a 2024 asphalt hot box patch trailer from Craftco, and the cost is $44,435.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second of the purchase of a 2024 asphalt hot box patch trailer for the Public Works Department. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. The next item on the agenda is discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding the purchasing of a 2024 Ford Maverick truck for the Codes Enforcement Department. Corey?
Yes, thank you. This is to replace a 2009 Dodge Charger that has ongoing maintenance issues as well. The vehicle will provide, the Ford Maverick will provide better transportation in the winter. It's 4-wheel drive. Better fuel economy and less downtime due to those repairs that hopefully we won't be making for a while. And provides more room for codes enforcement to store their tools and supplies, ladders, things to that nature, signs, you know. That's pretty much it on that one, I believe. So the Dodge Charger, I suppose, haven't really thought too much about maybe on that one, but I would reckon it would go to auction as well, so.
Thank you, Corey.
So will be putting a ladder rack on it? It says it only has a 4.5-foot bed, but,
Yeah, so they use telescoping ladders.
okay.
And they're probably maybe 2.5 to 3 foot when they're collapsed.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Make a motion that we approve the purchase of a 2024 Ford Maverick from Blue Springs Ford for $25,982.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for the purchase of a 2024 Ford Maverick truck from Blue Springs Ford for the Codes Department. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. The next item on the agenda is discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding an agreement with OWN Engineering for consulting services. Corey, it's your last one.
Thank you. Yes, staff posted an RFQ for engineering services back in September of this year, as you're aware. After carefully reviewing each of the return documents, consideration was given to OWN Engineering for their services. This agreement will govern the relationship between the firms and the city, while the individual task order covers specific projects. We received 3 proposals. Like I said, we went through the proposals and scored each firm based off the criteria that we felt was the most important and could offer the best services for our needs, and that was OWN Engineering. We're also in the talks with Bartlett and West for an agreement that we will bring back to the board later for approval. In case OWN is too busy or unavailable at the time that services are requested, if they get too busy or some kind of a backup engineering firm. They just weren't quite ready to bring to tonight's meeting.
Okay. Thank you, Corey.
Where are they located?
OWN is Overland Park, and then maybe they have another office, Springfield maybe. Yeah.
Previously, we were using, prior to this,
Tom?
this is all replacing work that was done in-house previously.
Yeah, so in the past, the city did contract with Bartlett and West as an engineering services, and then as there's been sort of one-off projects, we've, used Olson and other firms as well. And then we did have, a previous public works director also was a land surveyor and licensed engineer in the state of Missouri, so there were some reviews that he could do that we will now have OWN do. Primarily, those will be new development reviews. So as we get civil infrastructure for new development, those have been submitted by licensed engineers, but we'd like to have an engineer from the city's perspective review those to make sure they're meeting all applicable codes. And there is a provision, if necessary, if those reviews become lengthy and cost more than they should, we can pass some of those costs back to the developer for review.
This is probably another Matt question. Just curious. I can't remember. Do we have a budget line for this specifically for next year? And do we have an estimate of how do you even project kind of where we'll land on this, I guess?
Yeah, so there is line items within the budget for engineering services. So each, water and sewer, transportation, general fund, all have line items in there. We'll have to see how that progresses this year and how often we utilize their services. But like I said, there is an opportunity for us to get back some of those costs back to developers if necessary. And then also, we may not have to utilize, one-off services as often if we find that the prices here are improved upon than just having one engineer. And part of that reason why this may prove to be beneficial is if we use OWN primarily for these things, they become more familiar with our system. So there's less time that they have to then come in, understand our system, and then engineer the thing that we've asked for. They'll already have some of that expertise in-house because they're our primary engineering consultant. Yeah. But no, to answer your question directly, the exact cost don't know. That'll be something we'll have to definitely monitor this year. And then going into next year, we'll have a better understanding of how often we may use them.
Okay.
Any other questions for staff?
I'll make a motion to approve to execute the agreement between the city and Own Engineering.
Second.
We have a motion and a second in regarding the agreement with Own Engineering and the city for consulting services. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. The next item on the agenda is discussion, consideration, and possible action for Bill Number 23-39 regarding an ordinance authorizing the execution of the intergovernmental agreement between the City of Oak Grove and the City of Blue Springs, Missouri, relating to the detention facility. Chief?
Thank you, ma'am. Before you is the agreement. This is we already have a long-standing agreement with Blue Springs as our short-term facility. If you'll remember a few months back, we did a long-term contract with Johnson County, who would hold anything over a 48-hour period. Blue Springs itself is our detention facility we use for those holdings of less than 48 hours. As we are a processing center here, we do the processing of our intakes, and then they're transported to Blue Springs. We've had an agreement with them in place since 2015 or 16, and this would be the first change since then with an increase of $10 per day. With that, I would answer any questions if you have any.
Thank you, Chief.
Just curious, do any other municipalities use them as well? Or is it-
Yes,
And do you
most.
know if we're all paying the same rate, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we all receive the same updates,
Okay.
as they have not done these for many years.
Yeah, okay.
And it does outline some more restrictions in the sense of, we have to be very aware of anytime we transport detainees that have an illness, sickness, maybe injured, maybe having a mental health crisis, because we're not using Blue Springs in any way, shape, or form of just a dumping site. We still have to get them the care they need before going there. And so it really outlines that, because in 2015 to 16, there were probably some concerns we hadn't even really started addressing yet.
Sure. Makes sense.
I move for first and second reading by title only of Bill Number 23-39.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for the first and second reading of the proposed Bill 23-39 to ordinance by title only. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. City Clerk, would you please read the full title of the bill 2 times?
An ordinance authorizing execution of the intergovernmental agreement between the City of Oak Grove, Missouri and the City of Blue Springs, Missouri relating to the use of detention facility. An ordinance authorizing execution of the intergovernmental agreement between the City of Oak Grove, Missouri and the City of Blue Springs, Missouri relating to the use of detention facility.
I move for adoption of Bill Number 23-39.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for the adoption of Bill Number 23-39 to ordinance. Any discussion? If not, City Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Rachel Kilmer,
Yes.
Kelly Netto,
Yes.
Jeremy Taylor,
Yes.
Tracy Newcomer,
Yes.
and Pam Pope.
Yes.
The motion is approved, and Bill Number 23-39 becomes ordinance number 2098. The next item on the agenda is discussion, consideration, and possible action for Bill Number 23-40 regarding an ordinance authorizing the execution of the cooperative agreement between the City of Oak Grove and the Oak Grove School District for improvements of the parking lot at Webb Park. Matt?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. And if you don't mind, I'd like to go back just one item quickly. So on the engineering firm OWN, their headquarters are located in Springfield, Missouri, but they have satellite offices in Monette, Kansas City, Joplin, Fayette, Columbia, Carthage, and Overland Park, Kansas.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, and on this item, this is an ordinance approving a cooperative agreement between the city and the school district to split the cost 50/50 for the asphalt paving of Webb Park in the primary school parking lot, in an amount not to exceed $70,000. That'd be $35,000 each from the city and the school district. the plan would be to bid this out to get some cost savings, hopefully, when we do our street overlay program in the summer. Additional benefit from that would be the school would be out, so hopefully there wouldn't be as much traffic in and around that area. This will be bid separately to our streets as an add-on, so we know the exact cost. So right now, the description is 3-inch overlay for approximately 33,000 square feet at a $70,000 estimate. The school district, after the joint meeting between the board and the school district, they took up this item as well. The school district has already approved this item. So if, presuming approval, we'll forward this on to the school district for signature, and then we'll proceed with bidding it out, this late winter for the spring-summer overlay program. So with that, be happy to answer questions the board may have.
Just clarifying, this is on the school property, right?
This is on, this is on park property.
Park
Yeah,
property.
Park property,
Okay.
just south of the Kiss and Go drive lane, but it is on park property. But because the school district utilizes it throughout the day, they've agreed to cost share asphalt paving this. So it is an improvement that will benefit both the school district for their drop-offs and pickups, as well as their faculty and staff, and also benefit the park network as people use that for the T-ball fields and other activities.
But then the ongoing maintenance is still ours.
Yes,
Yeah.
ongoing maintenance will be ours. So in the future, if we would need to be repaved, it would be on us to do unless the school district at that time also agreed to help with repaving. But that's not contemplated in the agreement. The agreement does state that sort of what's ours is ours and what's theirs is theirs. But yeah, this parking lot would be within the entirety of the park, of Webb Park. Separate from this, but 17th Street, there's some improvements that need to happen at 17th Street as well, going into this area. So 17th Street will be improved and widened as part of the street overlay project. So the whole area should be improved from Park to the Park Street to the parking lot.
I anticipate that once we do the parking lot, that it will help, but right now, as you know, when we went over there and stood to watch the traffic one day, and I probably would do it too, but people park all over the park grass. So I'm hopeful that that will fix that. If not, then maybe some signage or something. I know we have one sign there that says, do not park on the grass, but they're just lined up all over the grass.
I mean, people park on the grass at Webb Park.
Yeah, but there's signs that say not to.
Oh, okay.
That's
Well,
what
in
I'm
that
saying.
case.
Yeah, there's certainly on occasion when there's huge tournaments that
Yeah,
people
you can't do
do.
anything about it, but I'm anticipating that improving the parking will help, because right now with that little bit of a bottleneck to even get over there, it's hard.
Yeah, and with it paved, and we'll do the lines. We'll mark those in house. Certainly, more vehicles will be able to park in the same area because
Oh,
they'll
yeah,
have defined spots. So
Some
sometimes
parallel maybe on the entrance there. and
Yeah, so we're
things.
still kind of
Okay.
looking at what the best flow would be and the best way for that, but we're going to try to get it so that you can get as many parking spaces as possible and still have drive lanes. But having defined areas helps with the amount of
Yeah.
parking. Sometimes you go over there and you'll notice that people start parking strangely and
Sure.
and they don't know where to go, and that limits the amount of parking spaces that you can get.
And I would too. I would probably just find anywhere I could at that time. Rachel, to clarify, this is the one we talked about during the collaborative meeting.
Yes, I remember. I just couldn't
wanna-
remember if it was, I just couldn't remember where the line was.
Yeah, no,
between
that's
the
good.
park and the school.
Any other questions for city staff?
I move for first and second reading by title only of bill number 23-40.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for the first and second reading of the proposed bill number 23-40 to ordinance by title only. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. City Clerk, would you please read the full title of the bill 2 times?
An ordinance authorizing the execution of a cooperative agreement between the City of Oak Grove, Missouri and the Oak Grove R6 School District for improvements to the Webb Park Primary School parking lot in the City of Oak Grove, Missouri. An ordinance authorizing the execution of a cooperative agreement between the City of Oak Grove, Missouri and the Oak Grove R6 School District for improvements to the Webb Park Primary School parking lot in the City of Oak Grove, Missouri.
I move for adoption of Bill number 23-40.
Second?
We have a motion and a second for Bill number 23-40 to ordinance. Any discussion? If not, City Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Rachel Kilmer,
Yes.
Kelly Neto,
Yes.
Jeremy Taylor,
Yes.
Tracy Newcomer,
Yes.
Pam Pope.
Yes.
The motion is approved, and Bill number 23-40 becomes ordinance number 2099. The next item on the agenda is information reports. Matt, do you have one?
No, thank you, Mayor. Just like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Chris? Mark?
So you may be dreaming of a white Christmas, but there's a 60% chance of rain for Christmas and a high of 57 degrees, low of about 48.
Okay.
Good for travel.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
Thanks. Chief?
No report, thank you, ma'am.
Corey?
Yeah, I was just gonna mention, since we were talking about that parking lot, we started replacing those 3 failed storm culverts today, because there's no school due to Christmas break, so
Oh, nice.
just thought I'd let you know.
Good, thank you. Kim?
Yes, I just wanted to remind everyone that Tuesday, the 26th is the last day to file,
Kim? Oh, yeah,
and the luncheon.
yeah.
Of course, we're having
For
a
us,
luncheon
not open
on
to the public.
Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scott? No report, thank you, Mayor. Rachel?
No report.
Kelly?
No report.
Jeremy?
No report.
Tracy? Pam?
No report.
Just Merry Christmas to everyone, yes. We do not have an executive session, so I am, well, are you a little excited?
I'm a little excited.
All right.
It says
then-
we do, right? It
Right,
does, okay.
it's, I have notes
Like
to say we're not
Christmas
having it.
present.
I saved it for you for this
Motion to
moment.
adjourn?
So I need a motion to
Second.
adjourn, all right? I have a motion and a second to adjourn. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.
Wow, I'm very happy about that, too.
I am super happy.
I was going to tell you